All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Temecula City Council meeting of August 27th, 2024. Sorry for the late start. We had a closed session item we had to take care of. So we have the invocation by Pastor Brenton Stanley of Atmosphere Church, and I will do the flag salute, so please stand. Come on up.
Okay, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here. Honorable members of the City Council, I appreciate your willingness to take a moment here in honoring our Lord Jesus, and I'm honored to be part of this today, so thanks for having me. Am I supposed to ask you all to be seated, or do you all stay standing? Whatever's comfortable for you guys.
Yeah, we're good.
Sounds good. Thank you. Psalm 122, verse 6 says, "May there be peace within our city and security within our leaders." Jeremiah 29:7 says, "Seek the peace and prosperity of the city. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper." Please join me as I pray. Lord Jesus, I ask God for your hand to come on the city of Temecula. I ask God that you lead us, that you guide and direct us, God, that you lead and guide our mayor, our council members, and all the local government leaders. God, I ask for wisdom and discernment for leading our city, God, and discernment for decision-making, God. We know it's not easy to come to decisions and to lead, God, so I ask for a grace on the leadership here. I ask, God, for your wisdom to come on every person. And Jesus, I ask that you help them make just and righteous decisions, to be firm, to be strong, and to be kind when leading. God, I ask that you protect and bless the city of Temecula. Bring peace and prosperity to Temecula, God. Help us to trust in you and keep our focus on you and not trust in our own strength, God. I pray for the Temecula police departments and the fire departments. I ask for your divine safety and protection. I ask protection that follow each officer on duty and each firefighter on call, that they come home safe to their families and their loved ones. God, I ask for crime rates to go down and for neighborhoods to be protected. I pray for the Temecula School District, that every student in school from kindergarten through high school would be protected by divine authority, God, that schools be safe. I ask your hand to come on every campus, over every student and family member that are connected to each student. I pray for for our teachers, for our principals, and for all staff and faculty workers, that they would perform well and show every student care in the classroom. God, I pray for our mayor, our council members, and all local government officials. I ask that you bless and prosper their work. I ask that your hands come on their hands, protect each one. I ask that there be a spirit of unity and cooperation, God, and I ask that Temecula be a city that honors others and that is a light on a hill that cannot be hidden. So God, we just ask these things in your name, and I just want to close with the Lord's Prayer here. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, would you all please join me in saluting our flag? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Alexander.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas.
Here.
Councilmember Schwank.
Here.
Mayor Stewart.
Here. So item number, I believe it's 11, the appellant has withdrawn his appeal, so we will not be taking on item number 11 on the City Council agenda. So now we're going on to presentations regarding the Sister Cities International Program.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to bring up Community Services Manager Tracy Frick and Office Specialist Isabel Morales, who are going to give you a little presentation on the background of our longstanding Sister City program.
Thank you, Erica. Good evening, City Council members. My name is Tracy Frick, and I have had the great honor, along with my colleagues Bea Barnett, Katrina Thorson, and Isabel Morales, to be the Sister City staff liaisons for the City of Temecula. It has been a highlight of my career, and I thank you for this opportunity to present this valuable Sister City program to you all this evening. Before we get started on a recap of the 30th anniversary program, I would like to share a little bit about the background of our Temecula-Dyson relationship. Some of you probably know that the City of Temecula established its sisterhood, with Nakayama, Japan in 1994, and the sister school relationships were established between Margarita Middle School and Nakayama Junior High. In 2005, the towns of Nakayama and Nawa were merged into the expanded town of Dyson, hence why we see the names of Dyson or Dyson Nakayama being used interchangeably. After the expansion, the new community in Japan was enthusiastically committed to the continuation of this sisterhood that began 11 years prior. Historically, there's been an overwhelming support for the program here in Temecula as well, most notably from our former mayor, Ron Roberts, who served as an honorary city council liaison and a key advocate. Over the years, Mayor Roberts developed a very profound connection to the Dyson Nakayama community and its people. He understood the tremendous value of the sisterhood program to Temecula, including the lifelong friendships made, the increases to tourism, the many enhancements provided to our community, such as the monuments on display at the Temecula Duck Pond, and gifts displayed in the case outside council chambers. Mr. Roberts observed that Temecula dignitaries who traveled to Dyson were always treated like royalty, and he made sure that Temecula always did our best to return that hospitality, ensuring the lasting connection to our sister overseas that we still enjoy today. The relationship continues to flourish annually, with adults visiting from Dyson each December and students from their middle schools visit each July. Temecula reciprocates by sending an adult delegation every few years, and student exchanges from Margarita Middle School to Japan whenever possible to enjoy this amazing cultural experience. In 2014, we celebrated our 20th anniversary of sisterhood by officially renewing the relationship with both communities by placing an identical plaque in each community. In 2019, we celebrated our 25th anniversary with a gift of art from Temecula artist Bonnie Martland and a special dinner. And now we are in the middle of celebrating our 30th year of sisterhood with Dyson Nakayama. I'd like to turn the presentation over to Isabel Morales, who will provide a recap of the program thus far and updates about upcoming celebrations.
Thank you, Tracy, and good evening, council members. As you may already know, May 13th, 2024 was our milestone of 30 years of sisterhood with Dyson Japan. Here's a summary of our program so far, as well as upcoming plans at the end of the year. Last November, December, a small delegation visited Temecula. This visit gave us the opportunity to discuss plans for our 30th anniversary and to provide our guests with a small experience of Temecula. Itinerary items included meetings, a welcome breakfast, facility tours, visits to local restaurants, a Vail headquarters tour, a Margarita Middle School tour, and an experience of Santa's Electric Light Parade. In June, a delegation of 9 from Temecula visited Japan in celebration of 30 years of sisterhood. This group included Mayor James Stu Stewart, his wife Lisa, Councilmember Zach Schwank, his son Jack, Assistant City Manager Kevin Hawkins, his son Kyle, myself as City Staff Liaison, and Temecula Sister City Committee board members Ashley Harrell and Annie Halt. Our group spent 4 days touring the cultural capital, Kyoto, and 4 days touring Dyson. The trip included visiting United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organizations' World Heritage Sites, riding public transportation, learning a variety of Japanese customs and traditions, Dyson Town Hall visit and school visits, a commemorative plaque presentation, and a cherry blossom tree planting ceremony, a visit to Temecula Hill, a 30th anniversary celebratory dinner hosted by Dyson Town, a friendship party and barbecue hosted by the Nakayama International Exchange Association Youth Group, and phenomenal hospitality hosted from the host families. On July 25th, the City of Temecula welcomed a delegation of students and staff with a commemorative breakfast. The student delegation and their host families had the opportunity to meet City of Temecula dignitaries, including Mayor Stewart, Councilmember Schwank, Commissioners of Community Services, and Race, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and various city staff members. The students provided a special presentation to share their culture and hobbies and to demonstrate their English. The group had a wonderful experience touring Temecula with the Temecula City, Sister City Association and local host families. Here is a message from the Student Delegation School Board of Education Director Miho Uraki. Dearest Tracy, Karen, and friends in Temecula Sister City Association, thank you so much for having us the last 10 days. All of our students are doing well, and they were saying that this trip really became a life-changing experience for them. We are very grateful for Tracy, Karen, and everyone else in Temecula Sister City Association. Thank you so much for preparing all the fun activities and showing us the special places in Temecula. No words are enough to express our gratitude towards your kindness. We are very excited that more students can travel to Temecula next year. And in closing, we expect to receive a delegation of 7 adults, including Dyson Town Mayor Hironori Takaguchi, in the first week of December to complete our 30th anniversary celebration. We are planning a fun and busy itinerary that will include opportunities for you as City Council to meet our guests and join in on the festivities. We are also excited to announce an opportunity for our local community to experience part of the exchange. We will be holding a commemorative event to rename Borberg Park to Dyson Park and unveil the new Japanese garden in Nakayama Park located on Nicholas Road. This new Japanese garden will serve as an honorary landmark in our city to celebrate 30 years of sisterhood, be a space of culture and leisure for our local and international community to enjoy. Details for this unveiling will be coming soon via press release and social media, Parks and Rec social media platforms, so please stay tuned. And this concludes our presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. And did you want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
if I may.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tracy and Isabel, thank you very much for the presentation. And I want to thank you both for the time and energy you put into planning this trip. And not just this trip, but the reciprocal trips when our Dyson Town friends come here, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And I see Ben in the audience. And I know there's a lot of people involved in TCSD and that help on this cultural exchange. So I first want to say thank you. It was also fun to relive that experience, and I can say for myself, it was probably one of the most impactful experiences that I've had as a council member. The cultural exchange, the time that we spent with folks that we didn't know until we got there, and then I didn't want to leave. And I know we felt it when we got on the bus to leave. There was like, no, they're running alongside the bus with us, and we're kind of choking back tears at the same time, because it was it was a deep connection in such a short time. I wanted this presentation tonight because I think there's value to the community to understand the relationships that we can have throughout the world, and through this program, through the Sister City program. This is something that I know we value, and we demonstrate that by spending time in Japan and having our friends come here. I was looking at the photographs, and my son did go, as did the mayor's wife, and Director Hawkins, Assistant City Manager Hawkins' son went. To be clear, we all paid for those ourselves. The city did not pay for our families to go. Just really want to get that out there. But it was something that having that opportunity to bond with my son and the family that we stayed with in their home for 4 days, we'll never forget. And this program, again, is something that I want us to invest in, and I think there's opportunities even outside of Dyson to look at sister cities. And one might think, well, what does Temecula have in common with Dyson? And you'd be surprised. When we started walking around, we started talking about tourism. We started talking about, while they're not growing grapes, they are growing produce. And so there were connections in that way. But just a government-to-government connection was something really interesting to me. They're a municipal government, much like we are, and we have all the same challenges that they have, and to see maybe the way that they handle transportation is different than the way we handle it, and the way we handle something is different. So it was quite a wonderful experience, and again, I appreciate the time and energy that we all put into it and the investment that we make in that sister city organization. So if anyone in the community is interested in getting involved in the sister city, there is a sister city organization that we could certainly highlight and get folks engaged and involved in that to make it even better. And then when the students come, we toured several schools where there was art from Temecula students on the walls in these middle schools, and sort of vice versa. The highlight for me, and I think maybe the mayor as well, and maybe assistant city managers, there's a tree planted in Japan in our name. And that's something that's going to live on forever. And that's something that I believe connects us and grounds us. And as we dedicate parks, that grounds our Dyson friends to Temecula and continues to strengthen our bond and our relationship. So thank you both, and thanks everyone and then if our Dyson friends are watching, hello. Although the time change probably doesn't permit for that.
And I'll just piggyback on that, because it is a very interesting dynamics between our two cities. They come here literally annually, and not just once, but twice. Once with kids, once with adults. So, and we've been there like once every 5 years. So, and that's something we discussed, that it kind of almost seems a little disingenuous. We need to actually up our game and be a little bit more participatory. So, yeah. So anyway, so I really did enjoy the trip this time also. I also went 5 years ago for the 25th anniversary, and I went with Tracy the first time, and I went with you the last. And so it's a great trip for anybody who wants to experience a different culture entirely, because they are a different culture. It's so unusual to see a culture where safety is not taken for granted because it's everywhere. I mean, I was so impressed with the lack of crime, the lack of everything that we deal with here doesn't exist there. So that alone was just like it was like a 1950s moment of USA, you know. So it was very, very enjoyable, and I was glad that Councilmember Schwenk was able to attend with his son, because that was cool to watch those two guys. So, so anyways, thank you for the presentation. And any other questions? No? All right, so we'll move on to our next presentation, which was the city's homeless outreach and prevention efforts.
Yes, thank you. And for that, I'd like to invite up Lacey Sisler, who manages our homeless outreach prevention program, and Lieutenant Vic Pearson, who leads the city's core community outreach resources and engagement team. They're going to give you a little background on what we're doing with homeless outreach.
Thank you, Erica. Good evening. I'm Lacey Sisler, and I manage the city's homeless outreach and prevention program. In our last update in April, we introduced the teams working to tackle homelessness in Temecula, and I'd like to briefly recap the key players. Our balanced approach, focusing on responsible compassion, involves several dedicated teams. City staff oversees the city's response to homelessness, including regional collaboration, resource center operations, and the cleanup of dangerous and unhealthy encampments. SWAG is contracted by the city to provide case management and street-level outreach, focusing on our most severe and chronic cases. They also manage our bridge housing facility, the SWAG Ranch. RUHS provides a full-time mobile crisis management team funded through a county contract to assist with mental health crises at no cost to the city. The core team offers law enforcement support through the Community Outreach, Resources, and Engagement, or core team. They address quality of life issues, ensuring safety and well-being for both individuals experiencing homelessness and the wider community. Together, these teams work to connect our neighbors in need with vital resources, employing a balanced approach that combines compassion and accountability to enhance the quality of life for all of our residents. Our city staff meticulously tracks data to evaluate and refine our methods. So far this year, we have achieved 101 street exits. That's a notable increase from last year's total of 89. Since 2021, when we began our current contract with SWAG, we have facilitated 368 street exits. Additionally, we've resolved 73 dangerous and unhealthy encampments this year alone. We continue to monitor various data to assess our strategies, address client needs, and measure success, and we share these key highlights through our monthly updates. Staff tracks more than 40 unique metrics each month, and here we have a few examples of how we use the data that we monitor. The first chart shows where new clients in our community last lived. Contrary to popular assumptions, our data shows that at least half of the individuals that we encounter had their last permanent residence in the city of Temecula. And we know from our ongoing interactions that most of our clients with the highest barriers were born and raised here in the Temecula Valley. The next chart features a few of the items we highlight in our monthly reports. And a valuable perspective can be gained from the fact that in July, we made contact with 159 individuals experiencing homelessness, of whom 71 chose to decline our services. Our work is making a significant impact. As we previously stated, this year we've connected 101 individuals to sustainable shelter solutions. Recently, a woman who had been homeless in Temecula for over 20 years and struggles with severe mental illness and substance dependency was connected to shelter and treatment through our bridge housing program. She is now safe and sheltered and working with case managers to obtain permanent supportive housing. This individual had refused services for years, had been contacted hundreds of times by outreach workers, and had several unsuccessful recovery attempts before choosing to accept services. SWAG, RUHS, and our city team will continue to support her on her journey to stabilization. And in our next update, SWAG will provide more detailed insights into success stories like hers and the varied individual paths that lead to stabilization and shelter. While we celebrate our successes, challenges do remain. Key challenges include a shortage of regional treatment beds and low barrier family shelter options, ongoing trespassing issues, community impacts of dangerous and unhealthy encampments, and overall resistance to resources. Currently, our outreach teams estimate that about 90% of those living outside in our community continuously refuse services. And despite our tireless efforts to secure necessary resources for everyone living outside in Temecula, it is important to recognize that many choose to remain in their current situation. However, even when individuals do not seek help, our commitment to public safety and enhancing the quality of life of our community remains unwavering. Our work continues to focus on mitigating the impacts of homelessness, ensuring that everyone benefits from a safer and healthier environment. And on that note, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Pearson and the core team.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city executive team. My name is Lieutenant Vic Pearson. I oversee the Community Outreach Resource and Engagement, or the core team, and their daily operations. I know most of you have met them, but I just wanted to reintroduce them to you guys. I have one sergeant, 4 deputies, obviously 2 of them aren't here, and then 1 CSO assigned to this team. And these are the men and women, there's a couple females on our team, and they work to address all the quality of life issues throughout the city. One of the issues that I would like to address is the need to report criminal activity directly to law enforcement. When you witness a crime or suspect illegal activity, it is crucial to report it immediately to the police. Posting about it on social media or sending an email after the fact may delay our response and allow the situation to worsen. Our deputies are ready to respond quickly, but we can only do so if we are informed in a timely manner. I urge you to call 911 or a non-emergency number as soon as you observe something suspicious or criminal. There's a reason why social media isn't the solution. Social media is a powerful tool for community engagement, but is not a replacement for direct communication with law enforcement. Posts can be missed, misinterpreted, or lead to unnecessary panic without providing the police with the necessary details to take action. By contacting the police directly, you ensure that your concerns are addressed promptly and effectively. In closing, I want to reiterate our commitment to maintaining a safe and thriving community. We are here to serve you, and we need your help to do so effectively. Let's work together to address quality of life issues and ensure that criminal activity is reported quickly and accurately. Thank you for your attention tonight.
Thank you, Vic. I hope it's evident that we are making meaningful progress in addressing homelessness in our community. By collaborating with outreach teams, law enforcement, nonprofit organizations, and regional partners, we're implementing practical and effective solutions and tracking our progress. Thank you for your continued support and dedication to this critical cause. We're now open for questions.
Thank you for the presentation. It was really good, and I know what you guys do out there. So, yeah, it's awesome. Any other questions or just a comment? Yeah.
So I know your PIC count is coming up, I believe. Could you give any insight to that and what that looks like and kind of what goes on and when that will be?
Yeah, definitely. So we, our county has transitioned to conducting a PIC count, which is the nationwide count of all people at one point in time in our nation experiencing homelessness. And we've transitioned to doing that every other year. Our city continues to also do a locally focused census count. So we actually have both coming up in the near future. We're anticipating our census, which is the locally focused count for our community, should be in November. And then the PIC count, which will happen all over the country, that will be in January. Okay. And so the nice thing with our census count is we can take our time, we can talk to the people we know, we can design the questions we want to ask to dig into, hopefully finding solutions to connect people to resources. And then the PIC count, obviously, we just get that valuable data of what's going on at that point in time across our whole entire country. The local one is very small. It's just, our staff, our law enforcement. The PIC count does offer a really great opportunity for the community if they want to get involved. There's lots of opportunities to volunteer in that capacity in January.
And how would they get a hold of whomever in order to be a part of that?
So we will have it on our website when the dates are released, and then there will be press releases going out, and there will be active links to sign up, and then they can always reach out to our team as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
I just wanted to quickly commend you, our city staff, our RSO, our local partners. I think it's important to note, you said a few times there on the individuals that are resource resistant out there. And the stat that you had, there was over, I think, 100 that I think it was almost 50% are resource resistant, just under 50%. And it's important to note for the public that if you are experiencing homeless, or if you know someone that is experiencing homelessness, the opportunity to be housed and to get the resources are there. Yes. We have those resources, but it's also important to note that almost half of the individuals out there experiencing this are resource resistant. And you can only do so much for someone who doesn't want to help themselves. Yes. But I commend you again, RSO, our city staff, and our local partners such as SWAG for doing all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I just want to say thank you. Obviously, thanks for the presentation, but thank you for the time and energy, obviously, out in the community. This team that you put together is an investment, right? It's and this isn't to blast anyone else, but this doesn't exist everywhere. In fact, this is somewhat of a model that other cities look to, and Temecula is doing it this way. We could model that in many ways. And I understand the challenges with treatment beds and the resource resistance and things like that, but the landscape is changing on dangerous encampments very quickly. And I think we're not going to obviously get into it tonight, but we're seeing a definitive path forward with dealing with some of the challenges that you face And that impacts our community, and we're going to be able to deal with that in a much more positive and healthy way going forward. So thank you again for all the time and effort that you put into our community to keep it safe and offer services for folks that want it, and continuing to try to make inroads in the folks that don't necessarily want it the first time. I know you're constantly making contact and trying to connect and trying to get people help.
And it works. Eventually, it works.
It does, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, so now we're on to Board and Commission, and we have the Ready Commission with Mr. Eric Faulkner.
I guess I'll just read from here. Oh, there it is. All right, Mayor, City Council members, staff, and residents of Temecula. I'm here to give you an update on the Race, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Commission, August 27, 2024. Next slide. Just want to spend a little time just talk about this very diverse group we have here. Again, you see Commissioner Eventoff works for the Water District, very great in legislative affairs. Myself, I'm a veteran, work with the VA, retired military. Lyman Leckers is working on improving the outcomes for children and families with his organization. Crystal Pastorian is an educator, brings that wealth of experience to the Ready Commission. We have 2 real estate agents working in that field with Commissioner Steed and Commissioner Wilson. And then to round it off, we have Commissioner Deutsch, and I hope I said that right, she's going to kill me, who does everything. She's on the Historical Society. She's a New York Times bestseller. She's wrote hundreds of books. She's helped people write books, and she was trained as a rabbi. So you can see the wealth of experience on our Ready Commission, and they're all poised to do the work in our community. Description: the Race, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Commission reviews and makes recommendations on topics of diversity and inclusion within city events, services, programs, policies, and enhanced community relations. Our last meeting was August 8th, 2024. Next slide. During that meeting, we received a presentation by TCSD regarding collaboration highlights and National Recreation Park Association. Great brief. Staff from Temecula Community Services Department provided a presentation regarding their community and media relations efforts, which were amazing. Topics included an overview of the division, event, and service evaluations, social media techniques, collaboration with the National Recreation and Park Association, NRPA, and the Where You Belong and Beyond the Playground campaigns. Additionally, we received a presentation by Public Works Department regarding their efforts related to the city's equity core value. Public Works Director Ron Marino did an amazing job presenting to us, provided us with a presentation regarding the department's efforts related to equity core value. Topics of discussion included the department's mission statement, department structure with various divisions, diversity of people and projects, equity in delivery of street maintenance, and other programs based on need, department roadmap for consideration of future projects, in conjunction with multiple citywide plans, including the Quality of Life Master Plan and specific Ready-related programs with mandates from the state and federal governments. Next slide. Additionally, we discussed final report regarding the future home ownership opportunities for youth in preparation for the joint meeting with City Council. We appreciate this coming to the Ready Commission because it has sparked some great discussions of bringing up our background and where we come from, in addition to trying to figure out what's out there in the space to help with our youth in preparation for home ownership and actually being able to live their lives in a respectful manner. The commission reviewed and provided comments on a draft report to be presented to the City Council at the joint meeting on September 5th, 2024 at 6 p.m. So please come back, residents, for that report. In the conference center, topics of discussion included historical background of the item assigned by the City Council, barriers to youth housing identified into 4 separate buckets, economic development, education, advocacy, and partnerships, review of comments from the Economic Development Coalition, Habitat for Humanity, and Riverside County Housing and Workforce Solutions Department, and potential comments from each commissioner based on their lived and professional experience. Additional topics included an advocacy for flexibility and conditioning developments for specific segments of the population, access to capital, variety in housing stock, career technical education opportunities, and industry incentives for youth housing. The commission is looking forward to the dialogue at the joint meeting. Next slide. Ready Commission's next meeting after the joint meeting with the City Council on September 5th. Our next regularly commission meeting will be held on October the 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in City Council chambers. All are invited, and we look forward to seeing you there. That is my report for tonight, Mayor.
All right, well, thank you. And now we're off to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and Captain Chris Durham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Team. I'm proud to present the stats for the month of July. Your deputies responded to just over 5,800 calls for service. It breaks down to approximately 187 calls per day, bringing the grand total for 2024 at just under 40,000, and this is a slight decrease from last year. I do want to commend the city and the city's homeless team and the core team. You really do something that is completely different. You offer an ability to get off the streets right then and there. That the hand is extended, the red carpet is rolled out. If someone wants to change, they have the ability to change right then and there. What I'd like to address just briefly is the ability for these people to pull on the good hearts of the residents of Temecula and politely ask them not to engage and feel sympathy for the panhandlers. There's food, clothing in the shelters, and unfortunately, if you give them money, they're going to abuse that gift and become a call for service and tie up CAL FIRE, ambulance, and RSO resources. And so please, if you feel so inclined, donate to a nonprofit. The other thing that you can do to help the community is Prop 36 will be on the ballot in November, and that'll help enforce some of our drug laws to help people and force them into sobriety. And so together we can continue to solve this problem. But that ends my report. If there's any questions, I'll gladly take them.
All right, well, thank you. All right, we're off to public comments. Madam City Clerk, do we have public comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have 2 public comments on non-agendized items. The first speaker is Melissa Bourbonnais, to be followed by Laurel Lamont.
Hi, I am Melissa Bourbonnais, and I am here on behalf of Upward Community. And as you definitely know at this point, we represent the workforce, and we emphatically believe that at least 3 out of 4 of you, or 4 out of 5 of you, don't care at all about the workforce. That isn't just a narrative. It is our opinion, our strong opinion, based on 4 years, and with Laura Lamont, 8 years of coming to city council meetings, 8 years of research and pleading and begging that culminated to even August 13th, when Upward Community was successful in bringing 6 at least, supporters, members of the community, constituents to city council. Laura Lamont spoke, of course, her son spoke. Several constituents spoke about their imminent homelessness. Not homelessness because they're addicts, not homelessness because they're unemployed, but homelessness because they hold a job, because Laurel goes to work every day and takes care of her son. They came up here and they spoke about a pending eviction, as you know. On top of that, several dozens and dozens and dozens of supporters gave us permission to include them on emails, Mayor, to you, to the city. None of that is a narrative. That is what happened, and your response, whether it be an email or during city council, was silence, other than Councilmember Kalfas, who at least acknowledged their existence, who at least acknowledged housing, the housing crisis, who acknowledged that there are solutions. That's real, that's accurate, that's truth. Your behavior, whether it be silence or the decision, I love how the pastor talked about just and righteous decisions in the invocation, or your decision to show another video with you driving around Temecula, or your decision to talk about a petathon, your decision to talk about trees and dogs and animals and parks in response to people coming up here and discussing the fact that they're going to be homeless. I love that you'll go to Japan, but you haven't even been to see your constituents who are being evicted.
Then last speaker is Laurel Lamont.
All right, we're back. Performative, that's what this whole arena feels like. You sit on thrones, Kalfas here excluded. But the rest of you sit up there on a dais. You don't engage. Stuart, I read your email. 5 years, I neglected to say how I've been securely housed for 5 years. I fought every year to keep that roof over my head. What I also neglected to say was my son was suicidal for 2 of those years while he was locked in an apartment with no community, with no dad, with no male mentorship. We ended up in the hospital. Care Solace was no help at all. It was my work and my insurance that got therapy for him. I didn't mention a lot of things in those 5 years that I fought to keep that roof over our head. What is the swag team gonna do for me? What is Care Solace gonna do for me when I don't have the roof? I am not ready for the fair market rent. I make $52,000 a year. Do the math. I do. It was your community director, community of services that told me, well, it looks like you know how to balance a budget. You'll figure it out. Your son's not going to need you when it comes to high school. Looks like he did. What are you going to do instead of just blaming past city councils for not doing the right thing? Guess what? You can take it up with them because it's now your problem. Your street is a public street, and I will live in my car on that street if it is your decision to let this happen. You've had 8 years to figure this out. We are the missing middle. We are the local economic workforce. Don't talk to me about class when you sit on a throne. Do something. Read. Do something. Do your job.
Mr. Mayor, there are no more public comments on non-agendized items.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to city council reports. Let's go with Council Member Schwank.
Okay, Mr. Stewart, Mayor Stewart, I will happily go first. If we could go and put up the first slide. I've got 2 this evening. All right, so piggybacking on all of the public safety concerns and our core team and our homeless outreach and our Riverside Sheriff's deputies and our partners, I wanted to highlight a few of the issues that we've had in our community. And I don't bring this up as a way to highlight this stuff happens. This happens in every community, but what I do want to highlight is the investment in technology to stop it. If you look at the flock technology used in 3 of these cases, and then obviously drone technology used in that 3rd. It's just one way that our city continues to support public safety in a positive way, give our deputies the tools that they need to keep the members of our community safe. So I wanted to highlight this and thank our Riverside Sheriff's Department for all the hard work in our community. We appreciate you. Okay, and our next slide. So we have, in the past, we started an American flag program last year. I'm happy to announce that we will continue this program again this year. We did some earlier this year, and they went very quickly. September 11th is fast approaching, and it's one of those days where I think as a community and as a country, we can wrap our arms around each other and really display our patriotism and our love for each other. So come get an American flag at the Welcome Center here at City Hall. There are some guidelines. You have to live in the city of Temecula, so if you live outside the city of Temecula, I'm sorry. Talk to your city council members or your supervisor for that. But I wanted to also thank Michelle's Place and Home Depot, and then Troop 309. Troop 309 is Temecula Valley Girls. It's a scout troop that has assisted with this wonderful program. So come to City Hall, get a flag, display it on your home. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Alexander.
All righty, let's first do that one. Sure, okay, we'll do that one first. All right, so I just wanted to share that I had an opportunity to be invited with other elected officials. It was in Murrieta, but it was a combination of Temecula and Murrieta officials as well as residents. And this was a wonderful cultural event. If I butch up the name, please forgive me. It's Shri Mandir Hanmashtami. It was a cultural festival. I used to live in India, and so for me, this meant a lot. Kind of brought back a lot of memories. But I did have an opportunity to speak with a lot of the individuals over there that felt that this was a necessary and really encouraging event to have officials there, because not a lot of times do they have that type of interaction culturally. And so I wanted to encourage them to come down here to City Hall to talk about anything that they're needing as a group. And so it was just a very wonderful opportunity to just to reach out to the community and the residents here in Temecula. So I just want to thank them for all that they are doing, and just look forward to our future meetings. Our last one, for my last slide, we all know that it is election season coming up, and just around the corner. So we're in that time frame where signs can go up all over the city, and we obviously encourage that. However, there are areas and places where we would implore and please ask you to make sure that you're putting them in the right areas, so that way you're within policy. Signs on public property are prohibited, so right-of-ways, medians, parks, and facilities. If they are found, code enforcement will remove them. They're kind enough usually to reach out to you and to tell you to come pick it up, which I think is actually really, really nice, especially to the fact that we're not supposed to be putting them on those areas. Signs on private property are permitted with permission. So if you're putting them on an HOA area, if you're putting them in residential homes or commercial centers, you need to have the authority and the okay by whoever is in charge of that area. Also, report a sign violation to code enforcement. Research is the issue in Temecula. Am I here? There's an app for this, so if you need to tell somebody, hey, there's some areas that there's some signs, please go to the app, so that way code enforcement can take care of this right away and report any of that. There's the phone number right there. And let's see, also just to note that according to policy, signs can be no larger than 12 square feet. So I've known people to go out there and actually measure them, so just be aware so you're not spending extra money and losing it. Please just keep to that policy. And the last thing is in the last couple elections, and this is on any side, any person, any group, I would ask that you look at this right here. Stealing, vandalizing, and or damaging political signs is punishable under law pursuant to the California Penal Code, these sections. So I would just ask that you are respectful of other people's property, and that you do not take signs down, and unless they're on your property and they're you don't give them permission. So I just wanted to put this up so that way we can keep to our policy, we can keep a clean city, enjoy the time for the election, and just get through it until November 5th. So that is it. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes. We have a slide. Campaign season is upon us. A busy couple weeks, some fun events that me and the family went to. The first one was Oak Grove SoCal Chef Open. I was able to attend that with my wife and a few other local elected dignitaries in the area. Oak Grove always puts on multiple events throughout the year. They're a great local nonprofit. Oak Grove specifically helps to rebuild the lives of at-risk youth and their family. These events are always awesome and a great fundraising for the nonprofit to help out these youth. So it's always a great place to go and see the youth that are actually at the event and the lives that have been changed by nonprofits such as this. So I'm just always happy to be there to support local nonprofits that help these individuals. Next slide, please. And this was my first year attending the Temecula night at Storm Stadium. Hopefully in the future we continue these nights. Hopefully the city and Lake Elsinore are able to promote these nights and get as many people out there as possible. It's an absolute blast. We're very fortunate to have a minor league team this close to Temecula and a good minor league team at that. So it was a great time. I look forward to those events in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. So I have a couple slides also. Let's do the National Preparedness Fair first. All right. So Saturday, September 7th is National Preparedness Fair, which is right here, right in front of City Hall from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this is where you get to see and experience what we're doing about being ready for a disaster. So, and there's plenty of things that could go wrong between earthquakes and we had flooding situations. So it's important to know what and where to go and what to do. So this is always a good event. And next slide. And Friday nights is that Friday before is Temecula Art Nights. So right next to the Merc is a open lot, and we have local artisans who bring in their artwork to sell. And there's usually an artist, singer, guitarist, player, whatever you want to call it. So there's also entertainment. So it's really kind of a fun evening to just go and explore, and you're right there in Old Town, so you can see the rest of Old Town too while you experience these art nights. And I have one more. It's a video of when I went and did my cruise night. I stopped at this business. So go ahead and play the video. All right, Temecula, I just came across this really cool wine tasting area right here at Vail Ranch headquarters. It's an amazing place. So tell us about Marshall Stewart Wines.
We do a custom crush at a custom crush facility in Temecula. Okay. So we are actually a winery. We have our O2 license. Okay. And we produce our own wines and then bottle them and then bring them here now. So this is actually our brick and mortar tasting room.
This is a fantastic facility. Can you tell me a little bit about the facility?
This used to be the machinery barn. It's just a great little building. I mean, we've got almost 3,000 square feet here. Wow. We did a few modifications around doors and windows with old wood and actual square nails. I understand what old heritage looks like, and that's what the theme that we wanted to follow here.
So what's the history on the 48 stars on the flag?
Proud to say it, that was my dad's flag on his casket.
Is that right?
When he passed, he had the 21 gun salute, and that was on his casket.
If you're anywhere in the Temecula Valley, Orange County, LA, you must come and check out Marshall Stewart Wines right here at Vail Ranch headquarters. It's an amazing place, very cool, vibey place to hang out. So have your meetings here or whatever.
Thanks for coming in, Stu.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that place is really cool. And what's really cool about it is you get to experience not only a winery, but the history of Temecula started right there at that location. So you can kind of get a flavor for the old and the new at Vail Ranch headquarters. So if you're looking for something new to try and you haven't been there, definitely go there. So Now we were on to the consent calendar. Number 1 is waive reading of text and title and text of all ordinances and resolutions included in this agenda. Item 2, approve action minutes of August 13th, 2024. Number 3, approve list of demands. Number 4, approve agreement with Verdanza, Inc. for geotech engineering services. Number 5, approve agreement with American Ramp Company, Inc. for the construction of a modular skate park at Long Canyon Creek Park, PW 23-05. Number 6, approve agreement with Computer Alert Systems, Inc. for fire and alarm monitoring, maintenance, and repair services for fiscal year 2024 through 2027. Number 7, approve agreement with Musco Sports Lighting, LLC for the LED retrofit conversion project at Ronald Reagan Sports Park baseball fields, PWSL 12. And then we have item number 8, approve track map number 38842 located at 41707 Winchester Road. Item number 9, receive and file temporary street closures for 2024 Autumn Fest events. I will accept a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Right, it's been moved and seconded. Please vote. And that passes 4-0, and I do believe Jessica wanted to talk about item number 5. Is that it?
Hold on. Sorry if I, no.
No, oh, you're good. Okay. All right, so I will adjourn the city council meeting in favor of community services.
Thank you, Mayor Stewart. I'll call the Temecula Community Services District meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, please note that we are all still here. Do we have any public comments on non-agenda items? Thank you very much. We'll move on to our consent calendar. We have one item, number 10, approve action minutes of August 13th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Motion.
Second. Go ahead, James.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's please vote. Okay, and that passes 4-0. Thank you. Director of Community Services, do we have a report this evening?
Yes, indeed, just a couple of items, Mr. President. So first, I'd like to mention to everyone that we offer a special bilingual story time, La Hora del Cuento, at the Ronald H. Roberts Temecula Public Library on Papa Road. It's a really special time where kids get to connect with books and sing songs in both English and Spanish. The program does fill up, so we recommend pre-registering to attend that. And then our second item is Homeschool Fridays. We mentioned that, I believe I mentioned that in my last slide, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks ago. We just started it, and at our first one, we had 20 kids attend, so it's off to a great start. So we really encourage any families who are homeschooling. If their teens would like some time in the teen zone, we open it early for homeschool families on Fridays for kids in grades 6 through 12 from 12 to 2:30 p.m. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. And that's a wonderful resource for our homeschool families. That's great. Good to hear. General Manager, anything tonight?
Nothing further.
All right, Directors, anything? Nope. All right, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting to our next.
And I will reconvene the Temecula City Council meeting only to say, do we have anything for future agendas? Seeing none, General Manager, City Manager's report.
Nothing further tonight, Mr. Mayor.
City Attorney report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we had a closed session and we have no items to report under the Brown Act.
With that being said, we are adjourned.